What if you found your grandmother's diary, but it was written in a language no one on earth could read? The words are there. The grammar exists. The thoughts, the stories, the secrets, all preserved. But locked. That's the tragedy of undeciphered scripts. We have thousands of ancient texts we cannot read. Civilizations speaking to us across millennia. And we cannot answer back. The Indus Valley Civilization. 3300 to 1300 BCE. Sophisticated urban planning. Advanced drainage systems. Trade networks spanning from Mesopotamia to Central Asia. And a writing system we still cannot read. We have over 4,000 inscriptions. Most on seals, small squares of carved stone showing animals, humans, and rows of symbols. 400 different symbols. Short sequences, usually 5 to 10 characters. Linguists have tried everything. Statistical analysis. Computational models. Comparing it to every known ancient language. Nothing works. We don't even know if it's a true writing system or just symbolic art. Here's the problem: we need a bilingual text. A Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone unlocked Egyptian hieroglyphs because it had the same text in 3 languages: hieroglyphics, Demotic, and Greek. For the Indus script, we have nothing. No bilingual inscriptions. No connections to known languages. No living descendants who remember. And in 1900 BCE, the civilization collapsed. The cities were abandoned. The script forgotten. The Indus people wrote their history. We just can't read it. Crete. 1450 BCE. The Minoan civilization. 2 scripts. Both found in palace archives. Both administrative records. Linear B, cracked in 1952 by Michael Ventris. Turned out to be ancient Greek. Linear A, still locked. And it's older. We have about 1,400 inscriptions in Linear A clay tablets. Stone offerings. Religious dedications. The symbols look similar to Linear B. Some are identical. But it's not Greek. It's something else. A language with no living descendants. The Minoans, the people who built the palaces at Knossos, who created sophisticated art, who traded across the Mediterranean, spoke a language that died with them. No modern language is related. No bilingual texts exist. No Rosetta Stone. We can guess at some meanings. Administrative terms. Numbers. Place names. Religious titles. But read a full sentence? Understand a complete thought? No. Linear A represents a linguistic orphan. A language that branched off from any known family and vanished completely. It may never speak again. 1908, Italian archaeologist Luigi Pernier excavating a Minoan palace at Phaistos, Crete. He finds a clay disc. 6 inches across. Both sides covered in symbols. 45 unique signs. Stamped, not carved, into the clay while it was still wet. Movable type. 3,000 years before Gutenberg. The symbols spiral from the edge to the center. One side, then the other. Animals. People. Tools. Plants. Geometric shapes. Every symbol is clear. Perfectly preserved. Beautiful. And completely mysterious. We have one disc. One example. No other text in this script exists. That's the problem. Without comparison, the Phaistos Disc could say anything. A prayer. A recipe. A game board. A calendar. A story. A hoax. Linguists have proposed hundreds of translations. It's ancient Sumerian. It's Proto-Greek. It's an Anatolian language. It's meaningless decoration. Every theory is unfalsifiable. Because we have nothing to check it against. The disc might be genuine. It might be a modern forgery planted in the archaeological site. We'll probably never know. One disc. 242 symbols. Infinite possibilities. The most beautiful puzzle in archaeology. And maybe the most unsolvable. Easter Island. Rapa Nui. 2,000 miles from the nearest continent. Famous for its massive stone heads, the Moai. Less known, the only native writing system ever developed in Oceania. Rongorongo. Glyphs carved into wooden tablets. We have 26 surviving tablets. Maybe 25,000 individual glyphs. The writing is boustrophodon, as the ox plows. One line reads left to right. The next line, you flip the tablet 180 degrees and read right to left. The glyphs show humans, birds, fish, plants, geometric designs. Beautiful. Intricate. Completely mysterious. Here's the tragedy. When Europeans arrived in the 1860s, Rongorongo was still in use. A living writing system. But disease, slavery, and cultural destruction decimated the Rapa Nui population. The few who could read Rongorongo died. By 1864, missionaries arrived. They saw Rongorongo as pagan and ordered the tablets burned. Most were destroyed. In 1868, Bishop Tepano Jawson of Tahiti received a package from Easter Island wrapped in a fabric with strange markings. He realized it was a Rongorongo tablet. He urgently wrote to the island, "Send me someone who can read these." They found an old man named Medoro Taor, one of the last who claimed knowledge. Medoro looked at the tablets and chanted. But scholars today question whether he was reading the text or reciting memorized myths. Within a generation, all knowledge of Rongorongo was lost. We lost a writing system within living memory. A language that people could still read in the 1860s is unreadable in the 2020s. That's how fast knowledge dies. Iran. 3200 to 2700 BCE. The same time Sumerians were inventing cuneiform. The Elamite civilization developed their own script, Proto-Elamite. We have about 1,600 clay tablets. Most found at Susa, ancient Elam's capital. 900 unique signs. Complex. Varied. Clearly representing a sophisticated administrative system. The tablets appear to be economic records, accounting, trade, taxation. We can recognize some elements. Numbers. We can read those, they match later Elamite number systems. Pictographic elements. A sheep probably means sheep. A grain symbol probably means grain. But the language? Unknown. Proto-Elamite was eventually replaced by a different script, Linear Elamite, which was itself replaced by cuneiform adaptations. Each change obscured the earlier writing system. Here's what's frustrating, Proto-Elamite existed at the same time as early Sumerian writing. They traded with each other. But we found no bilingual texts. No Proto-Elamite/Sumerian dictionaries. No trade documents with both languages. Just two parallel writing traditions that never quite met on the same tablet. So close to understanding. So far from breaking through. These aren't the only locked doors in human history. The Cypro-Minoan script of Bronze Age Cyprus. 3 variants. All undeciphered. The Cretan hieroglyphic script. Used before Linear A, equally mysterious. The Byblos syllabary from Lebanon. Found on spatulas and stone tablets. Completely opaque. The Sitovo inscription in Bulgaria. Roman-era script. Unknown language. The Zapotec writing of ancient Mexico. Partially deciphered. Many texts remain unclear. The Isthmian script of Mesoamerica. Possibly Mayan-related. Mostly unreadable. The Wadi el-Hol script from Egypt. Possibly an ancestral form of the alphabet itself. Debated. Unclear. And dozens more. Some are probably decorative, not true writing. Some might be numerical notations, not language. But many are genuine scripts representing real languages. Languages people spoke, wrote, thought in. Languages that expressed ideas, recorded history, told stories. All silent now. Waiting for someone to find the key. But sometimes, we break through. Egyptian hieroglyphs. Unreadable for 1,400 years. Until 1822. Jean-François Champollion deciphered them using the Rosetta Stone. Same decree in 3 scripts. The key that unlocked a civilization. Mayan glyphs. Long thought to be purely pictographic. Until the 1950s-80s. Yuri Norizov, a Russian linguist who never visited Mexico, realized Mayan was phonetic. He decoded it from photographs in a Leningrad library during World War II. Linear B. The bureaucratic script of Mycenaean Greece. Until 1952. Michael Ventris, an architect and amateur linguist, solved it using pure pattern analysis. Realized it was an early form of Greek. Shocked the academic world. Cuneiform. The wedge-shaped writing of Mesopotamia. Multiple languages. Until the 1850s. Henry Rawlinson climbed a cliff face in Iran to copy the Behistun inscription. Same text in 3 languages. Another Rosetta Stone. Each breakthrough followed a pattern. Bilingual texts. Comparative analysis. Persistent researchers willing to challenge assumptions. And usually, a bit of luck. The question is, will we get lucky with the remaining undeciphered scripts? Or will they remain forever locked? For the Indus script, Linear A, Rongorongo, Proto-Elamite, we're waiting for the same thing. A bilingual text. A Rosetta Stone moment. 1 inscription. 2 languages. One we know, one we don't. For the Indus script, imagine finding a seal with Indus symbols on one side, Sumerian cuneiform on the other. Same content. That would crack it open. For Linear A, a tablet with Linear A and Linear B. Or Linear A and Luwian. Any pairing with a known language. For Rongorongo, irrelevant now. The language itself is dead. Even if we could read the symbols, we wouldn't understand the words. Unless modern Rapa Nui retains ancient vocabulary. For Proto-Elamite, a trade document. Half in Proto-Elamite, half in Sumerian. listing goods, prices, names. These texts might exist. Buried in ruins. Waiting in museums, misidentified. Hidden in private collections. Or they might not exist at all. Some ancient peoples deliberately kept writing systems exclusive. Trade secrets. Religious mysteries. Imperial control. No bilingual texts were ever created. If that's true, these scripts may never be fully deciphered. Partially, maybe. Tentatively. But never with certainty. They'll remain locked time capsules. Voices we can hear but never understand. In 2014, researchers at Oxford University fed the Phaistos Disc into a computer algorithm. The AI analyzed patterns. Compared statistical structures to known ancient languages. Result, the symbols show linguistic properties consistent with a genuine language, not random decorations. But what language? The algorithm couldn't say. In 2018, another team used machine learning to analyze undeciphered scripts. They compared Linear A to 99 known ancient languages. The AI's conclusion, Linear A is most similar to languages from the Caucasus region, Armenian, Georgian, ancient Anatolian tongues. Intriguing. But not definitive. The problem with AI decipherment, algorithms can find patterns. But without a Rosetta Stone, without knowing what words mean, pattern recognition only goes so far. Computational linguistics has helped with other ancient scripts. It identified the structure of Mayan glyphs, confirmed the language family of Etruscan, revealed mathematical patterns in Chinese oracle bones. But for truly orphan languages, scripts with no living relatives, no bilingual texts, no contextual clues, even the most sophisticated AI hits a wall. The computer can tell you this is a language. It just can't tell you what it says. In 2019, researchers at Google tried something ambitious. They trained an AI specifically to read damaged ancient Greek inscriptions. Thousands of stone tablets. Weathered. Eroded. Missing letters, words, entire lines. The AI learned patterns from intact texts, then filled in the gaps on damaged ones. Accuracy, 72%. Better than human epigraphers. Then they turned the algorithm toward undeciphered scripts. The Voynich manuscript. That mysterious medieval book no one can read. The AI analyzed the text. Compared it to 380 languages. Conclusion, it might be coded Hebrew. Linguists tested the theory. Applied the decryption. Result, gibberish. The AI was wrong. But here's what's interesting, the AI didn't fail because it wasn't sophisticated enough. It failed because even the most advanced pattern matching can't create meaning from nothing. Dr. Regina Barzilay, MIT professor and AI researcher, put it bluntly. AI doesn't understand language. It recognizes patterns. Those are fundamentally different things. The Indus script, AI confirms it's probably writing. But writing what language? Unknown. Linear A, AI suggests connections to Anatolian languages. But can it translate a single sentence? No. Rongorongo, AI can identify repeating glyphs. But what do they mean? We're still guessing. The breakthrough will still require human insight. Champollion didn't just analyze patterns. He made an intellectual leap. A guess that names in cartouches might be phonetic, not symbolic. Ventris didn't just run statistics. He intuited that Linear B might be Greek, even though everyone said it couldn't be. Norizov didn't just count symbols. He understood that Mayan culture used both images and sounds. Rebus writing. These were creative insights. Moments of human understanding that no algorithm can replicate. AI will help. It already has. But it won't solve the mystery alone. The future of decipherment isn't human versus machine. It's human plus machine. Collaboration. Amplification. AI does the pattern work. Humans do the meaning work. Together, maybe we break through. The breakthroughs in decipherment didn't come from computers. They came from people having ideas. Champollion stared at the Rosetta Stone for years. Then one day, he realized, the ovals, cartouches, might contain royal names. Names that would be phonetic, not symbolic. He was right. That guess unlocked hieroglyphs. Ventris was an architect, not a linguist. He approached Linear B like a puzzle. Noticed patterns. Made connections. Then had an impossible thought. What if it's Greek? Everyone said it couldn't be. The Minoans weren't Greek. But Ventris tested anyway. It was Greek. Mycenaean Greek. Linear B fell. Norizov never visited a Mayan ruin. Studied photographs in a Soviet library. Recognized something others missed. Mayan writing mixed pictures and sounds. Rebus writing. Like using an I symbol to mean I. He cracked it from 5,000 miles away. These weren't algorithmic solutions. They were intuitive leaps. Pattern recognition is part of it. But so is creativity. Imagination. The ability to think, what if everyone's wrong? AI doesn't have that. It optimizes within known parameters. It doesn't question the parameters themselves. Humans do. That's why the final breakthrough, when it comes, will still be human. Aided by AI. Informed by computation. But sparked by a person having an idea nobody else had. Not all undeciphered scripts should be deciphered by academics. The American Southwest. Thousands of petroglyph sites. Some we understand through collaboration with Hopi, Zuni, and Pueblo peoples who maintain oral traditions. But some symbols are sacred. Deliberately kept secret. Not meant for outsiders. Archaeologists must ask, do we have the right to interpret this? Rongorongo tablets sit in museums worldwide. Berlin, London, Washington, Santiago. Mostly acquired during colonial times. Taken from Easter Island when the Rapa Nui people were decimated by disease and slavery. The Rapa Nui want them back. Scholars say, we're preserving them. Studying them. Protecting them. Counter, they're ours. You took them. Return them. Who's right? Both. And neither. The Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, U.S. museums must return certain artifacts to tribes. International pressure, former colonial powers reconsidering what they hold. Collaborative archaeology, indigenous communities leading interpretation of their own heritage. For undeciphered scripts, this matters. Should European linguists decode Rongorongo? Or should Rapa Nui scholars lead? Should the Indus script be studied in Harvard? Or prioritized by Indian researchers? Decipherment isn't just intellectual work. It's tangled with power, identity, and justice. Not every mystery is ours to solve. In 2021, Greece formally requested the return of the Parthenon marbles from the British Museum. Britain refused. The argument, we've preserved them for 200 years. They're world heritage, not just Greek. Counter, you stole them. Give them back. The same debate applies to texts. The Rosetta Stone sits in the British Museum. Egypt wants it. The Dead Sea Scrolls are scattered across multiple countries. Israel, Jordan, and Palestinian authorities all have claims. Who owns the past? Legally, often whoever holds the artifact. Ethically, the descendants of those who created it. Practically, it's complicated. Some artifacts were legally purchased. Some were looted. Some were gifts under colonial pressure. For undeciphered scripts, ownership determines access. If Rongorongo tablets return to Easter Island, Rapa Nui scholars get priority. Western academics might lose access. Is that fair? Yes. Is it practical for scholarship? Harder. The solution isn't hoarding in Western museums. It's genuine partnership. Shared access. Collaborative study. Local control with international cooperation. Decipherment as dialogue, not extraction. Right now, dozens of teams around the world are working on these scripts. Not making headlines. Not announcing breakthroughs. Just grinding through the data. Building databases. High-resolution scans. Every known inscription cataloged, cross-referenced, analyzed. International collaborations. Sharing findings. Peer review. Incremental progress. The work is slow. Painstaking. Often thankless. But it's happening. Every year, we know a little more. Not enough to crack the codes. But enough to narrow the possibilities. Science advances one small step at a time. The Indus script is the holy grail of decipherment. Over 4,000 inscriptions. A sophisticated civilization. And complete silence. Multiple teams are racing to crack it. The Indus Research Center in India, led by Indian scholars determined to decode their own heritage. They're analyzing seal patterns. Looking for grammatical structures. Comparing to Dravidian languages, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada. The theory, the Indus language might be ancestral Dravidian. If so, modern South Indian languages hold clues. Progress, some promising word matches. But nothing definitive. The Finnish team, using computational methods. Analyzing 8,000 sign combinations. They identified directional markers. Possible word divisions. Syntactic patterns. Conclusion, it's definitely a language. But which one? Still unknown. The controversy, some researchers claim it's not writing at all. Just symbols. Steve Farmer, Richard Sproat, and Michael Witzel published a paper in 2004, The Indus Script is Not Writing. They argued the inscriptions are too short. Too repetitive. More like heraldic symbols than language. The academic world erupted. Counterargument, short texts don't mean it's not writing. Ancient seals were brief. Names, titles, ownership marks. The debate continues. But here's what everyone agrees on, without a bilingual text, we're guessing. Smart guessing. Informed guessing. but still guessing. Linear A researchers are trying a new strategy. Instead of translating whole texts, they're identifying function. Benji Hoff, a Dutch linguist, noticed something. Certain linear A phrases appear repeatedly in specific contexts. Always at the beginning of tablets. Always followed by numbers. He thinks they're administrative formulas. Total, or received, or dedicated to. Even without knowing the language, we can identify bureaucratic structure. Another approach, religious words. Linear A appears on religious offerings. Dedications to gods. Some words might be divine names. If we find the same names in Linear B or other Aegean languages, we have a match. The challenge, Minoan religion was unique. Their gods had names we don't recognize. Still, researchers have identified possible terms. Acisara might be a goddess. Possibly related to Ashera, the Canaanite deity. Dict, a place name. Mount Dict, a sacred Cretan mountain, known from later Greek sources. These aren't translations. They're educated guesses. But they're building a semantic map. Function by function. Name by name. Slowly, Linear A is revealing its structure. Not its words. Not yet. But its skeleton. And sometimes, that's enough to start building understanding. Can AI crack undeciphered scripts? The honest answer, not alone. AI is incredible at pattern recognition. It can identify linguistic structures. Suggest language families. Fill in damaged text. But it can't create meaning from nothing. The fundamental problem, decipherment, requires a starting point. For Egyptian hieroglyphs, the Rosetta stone provided that starting point. Same text, 3 languages. For Linear B, Michael Ventris guessed it was Greek. AI can't make that leap. For Mayan, Yuri Norizov understood rebus writing. That's cultural insight, not pattern matching. AI works within parameters. It optimizes. It doesn't invent new frameworks. But here's what AI can do. Pre-process, clean up images. Identify symbols. Catalog inscriptions. Pattern analysis, find repeated structures humans might miss. Language family suggestions, compare to thousands of known languages instantly. Probability mapping, show which interpretations are more likely based on linguistic rules. The future isn't AI replacing humans. It's AI amplifying human insight. A linguist has an idea, maybe this is related to Luwian. AI tests that idea against every Luwian text in seconds. Confirms or rejects. A historian notices a pattern. AI checks if that pattern holds across all examples. Collaboration. Amplification. Human creativity plus machine speed. That's how we'll crack the remaining scripts. Not by replacing human insight. By turbocharging it. Not every undeciphered inscription is genuine. The Fuente Magna bowl. Found in Bolivia near Lake Titicaca. Covered in symbols. Some look vaguely cuneiform. Some look invented. The claim, this is ancient Sumerian writing. In South America. Proof of transoceanic contact 3,000 years before Columbus. The problem, almost certainly a hoax. Red flags. No archaeological context. Found by a farmer, with no precise location or date, the symbols are inconsistent. Some genuine Sumerian signs mixed with nonsense. No other examples. If Sumerians reached Bolivia, where's the rest of the evidence? The translation is gibberish. Sumerian words randomly strung together. Linguists who've examined it say, modern forgery. Probably 20th century. But it's famous in alternative history circles. Proof, they say, of advanced ancient seafaring. This is the danger of undeciphered scripts. They become blank slates for wishful thinking. See mysterious symbols. Claim they say whatever you want. The same thing happens with the Kensington runestone, Vikings in Minnesota. Probably 19th century hoax. The Los Lunas Decalogue stone, ancient Hebrew in New Mexico. Likely modern. The Bat Creek stone, Hebrew in Tennessee. Disputed. Possibly genuine Cherokee or modern fraud. How do experts tell genuine from fake? Archaeological context. Was it found in a controlled excavation? Linguistic consistency. Do the symbols follow grammatical rules? Material science. Does the wear match the claimed age? Comparison. Are there other examples? The Fuente Magna bowl fails all these tests. But it reminds us, not every mystery is real. Some are manufactured. The Voynich manuscript. A medieval book. 240 pages. Covered in unknown script. Bizarre illustrations. Plants that don't exist. Astronomical diagrams. Naked women in strange bathing scenes. And text. Thousands of words. In a language no one can read. Carbon dated, 1404 to 1438 CE. So it's not ancient. It's only 600 years old. And we still can't decipher it. Theories. A cipher. Encrypted message using a substitution code. A constructed language. Invented, like Tolkien's Elvish. A hoax. Meaningless gibberish designed to look like language. An unknown natural language. Possibly extinct. Medieval women's folk knowledge. Herbalism, medicine, astronomy, kept secret from male authorities. The fascinating thing, the Voynich manuscript isn't ancient. It's only 600 years old. If we can't decipher a medieval book with thousands of words and clear illustrations, how do we expect to crack stone inscriptions from 4,000 years ago? Sometimes the mystery isn't distance in time. It's distance in understanding. The Voynich reminds us, even recent mysteries can remain locked. Even with advanced technology, brilliant minds, and unlimited time, some puzzles resist solution. Not because they're impossible, but because we haven't found the right approach yet. Or maybe because they were designed to never be solved. Some mysteries are Not every mystery has a solution. Some inscriptions are too damaged. Worn by water. Shattered by earthquakes. Half buried in rubble. Some have too few examples. One symbol on one potsherd isn't enough. Some represent languages that died completely. No descendants. No relatives. Linguistic orphans floating in time. Even with perfect preservation and advanced AI, some scripts may remain silent. The Phaistos Disc might never speak. Rongorongo's full meaning might stay locked. Proto-Elamite might forever resist our efforts. And we have to make peace with that. Not every question gets answered. Archaeology isn't a detective story where all clues lead to resolution. It's fragments. Guesses. Probabilities. Some mysteries endure not because we're not clever enough, but because time has destroyed the evidence we need. The universe doesn't owe us answers. We want to know. We try to know. But some doors may stay locked forever. That's okay. Because the trying matters. Every failed attempt teaches us something. About language. About culture. About how humans communicate. Every pattern we identify, even if we can't read it, adds to our understanding. The journey matters as much as the destination. And sometimes, the mystery itself is valuable. We talk about scripts we can't read. But what about scripts that don't exist anymore? The Library of Alexandria. Ancient Egypt. The greatest collection of knowledge in the ancient world. 400,000 to 700,000 scrolls. Every major work of Greek, Egyptian, Persian, Indian thought. Burned. Multiple times. By accident and by intent. Gone by 400 CE. How much knowledge died with it? The House of Wisdom. Baghdad. 800 to 1200 CE. The intellectual heart of the Islamic Golden Age. Translations of Greek philosophy. Persian astronomy. Indian mathematics. Original Arabic scholarship. The Mongols sacked Baghdad in 1258. Threw books into the Tigris River. So many the water ran black with ink for months. The Maya codices. Central America. The Maya wrote on paper made from bark. Created thousands of books. History, astronomy, prophecy, mythology, mathematics. Spanish conquistadors and missionaries burned them. Pagan lies, they said. Bishop Diego de Landa alone destroyed thousands in the 1560s. Today we have 4 surviving Maya codices. 4. Out of thousands. The Inca quipus. Not exactly writing, knotted strings recording information. Thousands existed. The Spanish destroyed them systematically. We have 600 quipus left. We can read the numbers. But the narrative information? Lost. Everywhere humans have created knowledge, someone has destroyed it. War. Religion. Ideology. Carelessness. Fire. Time. Thousands created. 4 survived. The undeciphered scripts we have? They're the lucky ones. They survived. How many writing systems are we missing entirely? How many languages were recorded, then erased? We'll never know. Because the evidence is ash. There's something valuable about mystery itself. Not as an excuse for fantasy. Not as a gap to fill with aliens or lost supercivilizations. But as a reminder of humility. We don't know everything. Our understanding is partial, provisional, always subject to revision. Undeciphered scripts are humbling. They whisper, "You're clever, but not that clever." They remind us that human knowledge is vast, but time is vaster. For every civilization we understand, there are others we've barely glimpsed. The Indus Valley rivaled Mesopotamia in size. But they left no deciphered written records. No king lists. No epic poems we can read. What if they had wisdom we need? What if Linear A contains agricultural techniques we've lost? What if Proto-Elamite records trade practices that could inform modern economics? We don't know. And that not knowing drives us forward. Mystery is the engine of discovery, appreciate it while it lasts. If we understood everything, we'd stop looking. Mystery is the engine of discovery. So yes, we should try to decipher these scripts. But we should also appreciate the mystery while it lasts. Because once solved, it becomes knowledge. Beautiful. Important. But no longer unknown. And the unknown is where all great discoveries begin. So why do we keep trying? Why spend careers on puzzles that might never be solved? Because curiosity is fundamental to being human. We see a question. We want an answer. We find locked doors. We search for keys. The researchers working on the Indus script know they might never crack it. They do it anyway. The linguists analyzing linear A understand it may stay silent. They persist. Because every attempt adds to collective knowledge. Every pattern identified. Every hypothesis tested. Every dead end explored. It all builds the foundation for the next generation. Maybe the breakthrough won't come in our lifetime. Maybe our grandchildren will crack it. Or maybe someone 200 years from now, with technology we can't imagine, will finally hear these ancient voices. But they'll build on our work. Science is cumulative. Progress is incremental. Champollion stood on the shoulders of earlier scholars who tried and failed. Ventris built on decades of linear B research. Norizov succeeded where others had dead-ended. Passing the baton, someone has to be the foundation. We keep trying because someone has to be the foundation. Someone has to do the grinding, thankless work that makes future breakthroughs possible. That's why we persist. Not for glory. Not for certainty. But because these voices matter. And someone has to listen. The Indus Valley script. Linear A Rongorongo. Proto-Elamite. The Phaistos Disc. And dozens more. Each one a voice waiting to speak. Behind every symbol, a human hand. Someone who thought, this is worth recording. They wrote for their own time. To their own people. In their own language. They never imagined we'd be here, 3,000 years later, trying to understand. But we are. Because we're curious. Because we're persistent. Because their words matter. Even when we can't read them, we know they mean something. Someone loved. Someone fought. Someone traded. Someone prayed. Someone complained about the weather. Someone was human. And that's why we keep trying. Not just to solve puzzles. Not just to fill textbooks. But to honor the people who came before us. To say, your words mattered. Your lives mattered. You're not forgotten. The scripts may be silent now. But silence isn't the same as absence. Your words mattered. Your lives mattered. You're not forgotten. The voices are there. In the stone. In the clay. In the wood. Waiting. And someday, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a century, someone will find the key. The walls will speak again. And we'll finally hear what they've been trying to tell us all along. This is Underlight Histories, where Underlooked and Illuminated. Thank you for watching. See you next time.